you're looking at something like the UFC, maybe a 22-second match is exciting. But when you've paid for your ticket and you know that the outcomes are predetermined and you know that you've come here to see wrestling and be entertained, I can't get entertained in 22 seconds.
Yeah, listen, it's one thing to keep it in-house with Brock and Goldberg. Okay, I thought, Brock's bored. He wants somebody else to play with as such. Now they've put it in a completely different ball game. Now he's won the belt against supposedly the guy, your full-time guy, in 22 seconds. I know people will argue, well, if he can beat Brock in 1:26, he's got to be able to beat Owens quicker. Yes, honestly, I am beyond that. The casual fan is not going to understand this at all. This is unbelievably stupid. I don't know why they think the belt is a good idea. Quite frankly, I know that everybody so far thinks Brock's walking out of WrestleMania, but I tell you never know these days. I mean, we could see Goldberg win at Mania in 34 seconds, 33 seconds, whatever it'll be. At this rate, it wouldn't surprise me at the main event of the night, the way things are going currently. Honestly, between Goldberg and Roman Reigns, I don't... Matt, let me ask you this question. If Roman fought Goldberg right now, who would Vince put over? Who's his main guy, do you think? Does he go with his beloved Roman, or now his new beloved man, Goldberg? Who is Vince's main person? Because both these guys are so well, protected in a lot of ways currently. It's incredible. Do they just run into each other and both win?
Well, they both charge in with a spear and both explode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I reckon that Vince would choose Goldberg over him because the preferential treatment is outstanding. He's getting paid millions to do 2.5 minutes work over 2 months. Come on. Yeah.
Brock's probably going to consider renegotiating here. He's going to probably think, hang on a minute, I want a couple of those 22-second matches. I'll have a few of them. I'm doing suplexes all night long. This guy's doing nothing here. For me, listen, this is unbelievable. The only, that match at WrestleMania is, I'm a Brock fan, but I'm not looking forward to that match at all. Even though I think Brock's even going to win. I think Brock will win, by the way. And I think, the only thing I guess we can hope, Matt, is we see Goldberg be taken to Suplex City in a bad way. How much Goldberg can take of that, I don't know. Probably not that much, given what he's already given. I don't think he's going to be taking too many suplexes, that's for sure. And then, we've been told that the position was that it would be, Brock going in against guys like Braun. But now, listen, I've got a funny feeling that, if Roman was to turn heel, Matt, what's to say they didn't position Roman and Goldberg, but Roman as the heel going into that match? Because that is definitely another way they could go with it as well. And if you think about the logic of heel versus face, there's more logic in that than Braun versus Brock currently. So, I know people keep throwing that feud out after WrestleMania that it's going to be Braun Strowman that feuds with Brock, but currently as it stands, unless they're really going to shake things up with Braun, or Brock's going to be a babyface, which I can't see it straight away, then they would have to throw things up in the air. So this match, no rating for me, does not get a rating. I feel so much sympathy for Kevin Owens. I think this guy is going to... this is why, by the way, guys like CM Punk left WWE. Because they got sick and tired of crap like this, where a guy comes back. I mean, I know CM Punk got fed up with Batista, but this is off the chain. This is ridiculous, Matt. I mean, can you imagine if CM Punk was there now, how he'd be feeling after seeing this? Imagine if this was CM Punk that he beat in 22 seconds. What an absolute nightmare this is, really, for Kevin Owens, who's now going to have to wrestle for the US title. Yeah, it's going to be a great match. I've never denied it wouldn't be a great match, but I wanted it to be for the freaking championship, not the US title. I would have rather have had, title for title. Do something like that between Jericho and Owens, but instead, they're going to they sacrificed it, and now we've got essentially the B-list title of the night. Matt, does it give you a pass to say, yeah, it was worth doing because you get Owens versus Jericho anyway, but just for another title?
No, I mean, like, I would have even if Owens had to lose the title, I would have preferred that even someone like Balor came back in the 4 weeks they had left remaining before WrestleMania and took it off him,
Yeah.
Even that I could accept more because at least he's capable of that, and we've seen that Balor can actually do these kind of things like he did when he won the title. So at least that would be something and a bit of a shock. But to actually have Goldberg just take it, and, I'm sure probably some people would disagree with what I'm going to say, but as a man, how can Goldberg come out there and take this title? And he knows he's going to take it, and he just takes it from everybody in that locker room. And he's done nothing over the last 12 years for the WWE.
Yeah.
And in fact, the last decent length match that he had was abysmal because he could care less whether he was going to actually put on a good show or not because he was getting paid either way. And the fact that he didn't turn up after WCW went down because he was sitting at home paid to do nothing anyway, so he didn't need to work. Those kind of things can really annoy people. But he is popular right now, and he's always had his fans. I will admit that. But the title, he didn't need to take that at all. The kind of pull that people like Brock and Goldberg have these days, they can sort of dictate, their own kind of terms. Brock, he kind of is a different kind of case. He does deserve the title because he will make the appearances, he will put in the performances, and we know that he can go week in, week out if that was necessary. It's just not necessary because you get the most out of Brock when less is more.
Well, yeah, here's the thing with Brock Lesnar, he gives you that legitimacy because he's done the UFC stuff. So by having him back in your company, he's gone away and become a bigger star essentially, and WWE kind of knew that they would have that legitimacy back, and this is a guy that was the UFC heavyweight champion. So it's like kind of having like a Floyd Mayweather like full time type of thing. It's like having a guy like that in your company, turning up in those big matches. So there's a big difference there. But also think about it in terms like this, Matt. Sting. I know he didn't wrestle for WWE, but he done 10 years in TNA, active wrestler. Goldberg has not wrestled in 11 years. How on earth he's got the title over, even someone like Sting is beyond me. I don't really get how they've gone about this. Sting must be sitting at home thinking, Christ, he must, there must be some. I know that he said he's just happy to be at WrestleMania, but I think even he would look at this and think there's something not quite right with this. The way he was booked, especially. So I can't believe in 2017 that we have Goldberg as our heavyweight champion. It is, I said last year it was bad enough when Triple H had to come back and win the title. And, nothing against Triple H overall, but that was a desperate move because they had lots of injuries. But I felt that wouldn't have happened if the likes of Seth Rollins were okay and all the rest of it. The fact that now we've got Goldberg going into WrestleMania this year is even worse. It really does show, Matt, that I believe in general that WWE is in a lot of danger. They can't get stars over. The guys they do want to get over, like Roman, it's not working. Yet they're not going to ever seem to give up on it. And we seem like we're in a bit of a rut now, where we are now bringing back guys from, it's almost like living in 1998 all of a sudden. And here we are in 2017, and we're essentially watching Goldberg having another great peak time. Like his prime has happened here for some reason. He's winning matches faster now than he was in his prime in WCW. That's the ridiculous thing about it, Matt. Think about that. It's unbelievable. I think what will happen next, Matt. I can see this much. Wouldn't surprise me. How about this? Kevin Nash will come back and say, "I'm the guy that can beat him." Give it to me again. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me the way they're going. It really wouldn't. That'll be the next move on it. Yeah, so really a poor ending. Absolute.
Do you reckon Hulk Hogan's sitting on his sofa thinking I'm with a chance? Like, if I want to
I
come
think
back.
he is. I think that's the sad thing about it. I think he has got a chance. I mean, he said a couple of years ago he thought he wanted to face Cena. Now I'm thinking he's got a point with the way things are going, the way everything's shaping up. He's Hogan's in his prime still, so you know you might as well have Flair going back there soon. It's unbelievable currently where we are with that. So yeah, not a good ending. Very much reminiscing of Survivor Series, but I think this is even worse because it is Kevin Owens, and he is a full-time guy who, you know, Kevin Owens could have been the Goldberg of today if they'd have booked this guy right. Kevin Owens should be one of those guys like we want Joe to be, like we want Rusev to be. He's one of those guys, but they have not booked him like it. And you know, even if they have him going over Jericho at WrestleMania, it's still not going to mean as much as it would have him going in as champion. Even if it was Kevin Owens going in as champion but losing the title at WrestleMania, it still would have been more of a big deal because he gets that main event spot, but and to walk in with the championship. So I feel that's a really wasted opportunity. So for that, yeah, not a great ending at all. Of course, tonight is Raw, as we are on live here tonight, and we are expecting a few things, Matt. In particular, possibly Brock will be there tonight, but also we're expecting the return of Finn Balor. Now, if Balor doesn't return tonight, Matt, are we to expect that he won't be until post WrestleMania and that they don't have any plans whatsoever, or perhaps he does the sort of John Cena of last year where he just turns up at WrestleMania?
Yeah, if he doesn't turn up on Raw, I would go. Like, my thought would be that he would be post WrestleMania, because then it would be like the start of a whole new wrestling calendar, and they probably pencil him in for a lot more feuds.
Yeah. So we're hoping for a few things to change things tonight. Okay, Matt. Well, the only other thing I wanted to talk about before we end the episode was, of course, there was a few videos posted up in the week with Matt Hardy outside the WWE the Stamford, Connecticut office. I'm sure you saw that picture, Matt. And that's the good old Matt Hardy was doing a nice bit of publicity there, getting everybody wound up, thinking what was going to happen. Definitely done the job. Got a lot of people talking. But I tell you, it's a smart move on his part, by the way, for doing that, because he obviously knew probably in advance that they were going to sign for Ring of Honor. But it was a good way of making like extra publicity for themselves. And then sort of turning up at Ring of Honor in a way. I felt like that was a smart move, because you know everyone was saying, well, they didn't get the big one, but you know, again, I'm not sure Broken Matt in WWE's climate, especially the way it is at the moment, would have been the right move for Matt Hardy. And I think if you listen to a lot of his interviews, he gets better paid now on the indie circuit than he was in WWE that he'd ever got. So financially, and at the stage of he is in his career, I don't really think he was overly keen on that WWE schedule and stuff like that. And also, how much creative would he have got with the Broken Matt character? I'm not too sure. And then also, would they have allowed Jeff back? Possibly not. They turned up on Ring of Honor, Matt, and I actually thought it was a very good move for Ring of Honor first and foremost. They've signed these guys down to a deal. It's not like a short term; they are contracts, and I thought it was a very, very good acquisition for those guys. What did you think about it, Matt? Because you know, Broken Matt, I've got to say, is probably one of the biggest things, bar WWE, to sort of be going around at the moment, especially in the US. That everybody talks about, and you know, I can't believe that TNA couldn't like tie him down, especially with their new sort of ownership. They wouldn't really want to do more, and they let these two, well, especially Matt, get away, who's you know, been an incredible asset to them. Well, what did you think about the move, Matt, and of course Ring of Honor especially?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to admit, I didn't see it coming. Ring of Honor is like one of those places where you think of wrestling quality over like storylines, and then they've chosen Matt Hardy now and Jeff Hardy, who are like mainly getting over through their gimmick and not really through the in the ring work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the in ring work's that terrible. I'm just saying that it's not as good as it was when there were a lot